Are you eating well, moving, trying to stay active, yet still gaining weight after age 60? You're not alone, and it's not just calories in versus calories out. In fact, the science shows that something deeper is happening inside your body. Here's what's really going on inside your metabolic engine after age 60, and why weight seems to creep on even when you haven't changed your habits. Most of us grew up believing that weight gain after 60 is simply the result of a slowing metabolism, like your internal engine just stalls. But what the research actually shows is far more nuanced. Your metabolism doesn't suddenly collapse at 60. It slowly shifts in response to a cascade of biological, hormonal, and lifestyle changes that accumulate over decades. And understanding those shifts is the key to changing the course of your health. Your body is not trying to betray you. Instead, it's responding to changes in muscle mass, hormones, insulin sensitivity, organ function, lifestyle patterns, stress biology, and circadian rhythms, all of which evolve as we age. To understand why weight gain becomes so common after 60, we must move beyond the myth that metabolism alone is the culprit and look at the physiology beneath the surface. Here's a simple analogy to orient your thinking. Think of your body like a highly tuned orchestra, with hormones, organs, tissues, and metabolic pathways all working in harmony. Younger bodies tend to have balanced rhythms, but as we age, the orchestra slightly retunes itself. Some instruments play softer, others louder, and the overall tempo subtly changes. You still have the same instruments, but the symphony you hear is different. If we only focus on one instrument, say metabolism, we miss the whole composition. So if you've been frustrated, eating healthy, walking daily, sleeping reasonably well, yet the scale still rises, it's not because you're doing it wrong. The key is understanding which instruments in the orchestra have shifted and how to bring them back into balance. In this video, we're going to break down 6 science-backed mechanisms that explain why weight gain becomes more common after age 60, from muscle loss and insulin resistance to hormonal changes and liver function. And more importantly, we'll talk about what to do about it with practical tools you can use today. Not vague slogans, not one-size-fits-all advice, but evidence-based strategies rooted in physiology. By the end of this video, you will understand why your metabolism isn't the only or even the primary cause of weight gain after 60, why hormonal shifts, including insulin, estrogen, testosterone, and growth hormone, matter, how changes in muscle, mitochondria, and organ function influence your body's energy use, and most importantly, what you can do daily to take back control of your health. Let's dive in. After 60, one of the most overlooked drivers of weight gain is muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia. Many people assume that their metabolism has simply slowed down with age, but the reality is more specific. It's not that your body burns fewer calories randomly, it's that the tissues responsible for burning calories efficiently are literally disappearing. Muscle isn't just for strength or aesthetics, it's your metabolic engine. Every pound of muscle burns calories even at rest, and it's critical for regulating blood sugar and fat metabolism. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a hybrid car. Muscle is the engine that allows the car to run efficiently, switching between fuel sources like glucose and fat. Fat, on the other hand, is the storage battery. As you lose muscle with age, the engine shrinks, but the storage battery remains. The car still has fuel, but it can't burn it as effectively. The result? You gain weight even if you're eating the same amount of calories. What the research shows is that after age 60, adults can lose 1 to 2% of muscle mass per year if no resistance training is done. Over a decade, that's a substantial decrease in metabolic capacity. But here's the good news. This is reversible. Muscle is highly responsive to the right stimuli even later in life. So what can you do about it? The first and most powerful intervention is resistance training. Lifting weights, using resistance bands, or even body weight exercises like squats, push-ups, and step-ups can stimulate muscle growth and improve metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch efficiently between burning glucose and fat. Ideally, aim for 2 to 4 sessions per week, targeting all major muscle groups. For beginners, 20-30 minutes is enough to trigger adaptation. protein intake is equally important. After 60, your body becomes less efficient at synthesizing muscle from dietary protein, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. To counteract this, consume high-quality protein with every meal, aiming for roughly 25-30 grams per meal. Foods like eggs, lean meats, fish, dairy, or plant-based proteins like lentils and tofu help provide the amino acids necessary for muscle repair and growth. Another often overlooked factor is timing and nutrient synergy. Pairing protein intake with some resistance exercise amplifies the signal for muscle growth. For example, having a protein-rich meal or shake within 1 to 2 hours after strength training can make a significant difference over time. Finally, stay mindful of daily movement beyond the gym. Walking, standing breaks, gardening, or light stair climbing can help preserve functional muscle mass and prevent further metabolic slowdown. Even small bursts of activity throughout the day maintain muscle engagement and energy expenditure. By focusing on rebuilding and preserving muscle, you're not just improving strength. You're restoring the metabolic engine that naturally burns fat, regulates blood sugar, and stabilizes weight. Think of it as turning the hybrid car back into a finely tuned machine. The engine is strong again, capable of burning the fuel you give it efficiently. Addressing muscle loss is the foundation for the next insight we'll explore: insulin resistance. Strong muscles make insulin more effective, stabilize blood sugar, and help prevent fat accumulation, especially around the belly. So building muscle after 60 isn't optional. It's central to reversing unwanted weight gain. After addressing muscle loss, the next major reason weight tends to climb after 60 is insulin resistance, a subtle but powerful shift in how your body handles blood sugar. Insulin is often called the fat storage hormone, and for good reason. It signals your body to store energy, primarily as fat, when blood sugar levels rise. In younger adults, insulin efficiently moves glucose from the bloodstream into cells where it's used for energy or stored as glycogen. But after 60, this process often becomes less efficient. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Imagine insulin as a key and your cells as locks. In youth, the key fits perfectly, opening the door for glucose to enter. Over time, especially when combined with chronic inflammation, sedentary habits, or excess sugar intake, the locks become rusty. The key, insulin, still fits, but not as smoothly. The glucose stays in the bloodstream longer, causing spikes in blood sugar, extra fat storage, and intense cravings for quick carbs. What the research shows is that insulin resistance doesn't just increase weight, it specifically drives belly fat accumulation, which is the most metabolically dangerous type of fat. High levels of visceral fat promote inflammation, interfere with hormone signaling, and make further weight loss even more difficult. This is why some people notice that after 60, their weight gain is concentrated around the waist, even if they haven't changed what they eat. So how can we counteract this? The key is improving insulin sensitivity through lifestyle, timing, and food choices. First, resistance training and regular movement are crucial. Muscle cells are the primary consumers of glucose. More muscle means more doors for insulin to work efficiently. Cardiovascular exercise also helps by improving blood flow and nutrient delivery, which enhances cellular responsiveness to insulin. Next, strategic nutrition can make a huge difference. Focus on meals that combine protein, fiber, and healthy fats while minimizing refined carbohydrates and added sugars. For example, pairing grilled salmon with a colorful vegetable salad and avocado not only stabilizes blood sugar, but also supports fat-burning pathways. Additionally, consider meal timing strategies like early dinner or intermittent fasting windows. These give insulin a chance to reset and reduce chronic elevation, which encourages your body to tap into stored fat for energy. Another tool often overlooked is micronutrient support. Magnesium, chromium, and alpha-lipoic acid are all shown to improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. Incorporating foods rich in these nutrients, like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, complements exercise and dietary strategies. Finally, stress and sleep play a critical role. Elevated cortisol, the stress hormone, makes insulin resistance worse. Poor sleep amplifies blood sugar fluctuations, making weight gain almost inevitable if these factors aren't addressed. Simple steps like consistent sleep schedules, evening wind-down routines, and mindfulness practices can support healthy insulin function. Think of it this way. If your body after 60 struggles with insulin resistance, it's like trying to pour water through a clogged funnel. Even the healthiest diet can spill over into fat storage if the funnel is blocked. By rebuilding muscle, improving nutrition, managing stress, and supporting sleep, you're unclogging that funnel, allowing your metabolism to function as it was designed. In the next section, we'll explore hormonal shifts, how declining estrogen, testosterone, and growth hormone amplify insulin resistance and fat storage, and what to do about it naturally. Another major factor driving weight gain after 60 is hormonal shifts. Hormones are the body's internal traffic signals. They tell your cells when to store fat, when to burn energy, and even when to feel hungry or full. After 60, many of these signals change significantly, and the results are often misinterpreted as a slowed metabolism or simple aging. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a city, and hormones are the traffic lights controlling the flow of cars. When estrogen, testosterone, and growth hormone are balanced, traffic flows smoothly, energy moves efficiently, calories are burned, and fat is stored appropriately. As these hormone levels shift with age, some lights turn red for too long. Traffic backs up and congestion occurs. In other words, calories that should be burned start getting stored as fat, often around the belly and hips. Estrogen is particularly important for women, but men are affected too. Around menopause, estrogen levels drop sharply, which shifts fat storage from the hips and thighs to the abdomen. Lower estrogen also reduces muscle mass slightly and can impair insulin sensitivity, compounding weight gain. Testosterone, in both men and women, declines gradually with age. Testosterone supports muscle growth, promotes fat burning, and even regulates mood. Lower testosterone levels make it easier to gain fat and harder to build or maintain muscle, the combination we discussed in the previous section. Growth hormone also declines after 60. This hormone is crucial for maintaining lean body mass, repairing tissues, and regulating fat metabolism. Reduced growth hormone slows the body's ability to use fat for energy and increases fat storage, particularly visceral fat around the organs. So what's the solution? The goal isn't just to replace hormones blindly. The solution is supporting your body's natural hormone balance through lifestyle, nutrition, and targeted interventions. First, exercise remains essential. Resistance training, high-intensity interval training, HIIT, and even moderate aerobic activity stimulate natural production of growth hormone and testosterone. Muscle-building exercises act like a green light, helping traffic flow smoothly and promoting fat burning. Second, prioritize protein and nutrient timing. Adequate protein supports muscle synthesis and helps balance blood sugar, which in turn stabilizes hormone signaling. Nutrients like zinc, vitamin D, and omega-3 fatty acids support testosterone production and overall hormonal health. Foods like fatty fish, eggs, nuts, seeds, and leafy greens are excellent choices. Third, optimize sleep. Growth hormone is primarily secreted during deep sleep, so poor sleep directly reduces your body's natural hormone output. Aim for 7-8 hours of restorative sleep with consistent bed and wake times. Avoid late-night carbs or screens that interfere with circadian rhythm. Fourth, manage stress. High cortisol from chronic stress can block testosterone and growth hormone signaling while promoting fat storage around the abdomen. Mindfulness practices, meditation, and short daily walks can dramatically reduce stress and protect your hormonal balance. Think of hormones as the conductors of your metabolic orchestra. When they fall out of sync, every other system struggles. Fat accumulates, appetite signals go haywire, and energy levels drop. But with targeted lifestyle strategies, exercise, sleep, stress reduction, and nutrient support, you can restore the rhythm. Your body can once again burn fat efficiently, maintain muscle, and regain the metabolic harmony that feels lost after 60. If you found this section helpful, take a moment to reflect. Even small changes in your lifestyle can shift your hormonal balance, dramatically improving energy, body composition, and overall health. Another root cause of weight gain after 60 lies in a surprising place: your liver. Often overlooked, the liver is your metabolic control center. It processes fats, sugars, and toxins, regulates hormones, and even helps determine where your body stores energy. After 60, subtle declines in liver efficiency can shift your metabolism in ways that promote fat accumulation, particularly around the abdomen. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your liver as a refinery. When it's running efficiently, it converts raw materials, sugars, and fats into usable energy, clears out toxins, and keeps storage systems balanced. But as we age, inflammation, poor diet, and oxidative stress can clog this refinery. When the liver can't process fat properly, your body starts storing it in fat cells rather than burning it. Over time, this contributes to stubborn belly fat, fatty liver, and an overall slowdown in metabolism. What the research shows is that after 60, non-alcoholic fatty liver, a condition where fat accumulates in liver cells, becomes increasingly common. Even mild liver fat can impair insulin signaling and fat metabolism, creating a feedback loop that accelerates weight gain. In other words, a sluggish liver makes it much harder for your body to burn fat, even if you're eating well and exercising. So how do we support the liver and restore fat burning efficiency? The first strategy is dietary optimization. Foods rich in antioxidants like berries, cruciferous vegetables, and green leafy vegetables reduce inflammation and support detoxification pathways. Avoiding excess refined carbs, alcohol, and processed fats reduces the liver's workload and prevents further fat accumulation. Healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, and fatty fish actually enhance liver function and support fat metabolism. Next, intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating can give the liver a rest. By creating extended periods without food, your body taps into stored fat for energy and allows the liver to recover from constant nutrient processing. Even a 12-14-hour overnight fasting window can make a measurable difference in liver function and fat metabolism. Physical activity also plays a critical role. Exercise doesn't just burn calories, it enhances liver enzymes that help process fat and glucose efficiently. Resistance training, walking, and moderate intensity cardio all contribute to maintaining a liver that functions like a well-oiled machine. Finally, certain lifestyle factors influence liver health more than people realize. Chronic stress, poor sleep, and environmental toxins can trigger inflammation that impairs liver function. Prioritizing restful sleep, stress management, and minimizing exposure to processed chemicals supports liver detoxification and metabolic balance. Think of it this way. If your liver isn't working efficiently, it's like a clogged engine in a car. No matter how much fuel you give it, the energy output is compromised, and the excess fuel ends up stored as fat. By nourishing the liver, giving it periods of rest, and staying active, you're essentially cleaning and tuning the engine, allowing your metabolism to run smoothly again. Supporting liver function is a cornerstone of sustainable weight control after 60. It works hand in hand with muscle maintenance, insulin regulation, and hormonal balance, creating a network of systems that collectively restore metabolic flexibility and make weight loss achievable. One of the most underestimated drivers of weight gain after 60 is chronic stress and poor sleep. Even if your diet is on point, you exercise regularly, and your hormones are supported, stress and sleep disruption can silently sabotage your metabolism, making fat gain almost inevitable. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you're stressed, your adrenal glands release cortisol, often called the stress hormone. In small bursts, cortisol is helpful. It gives you energy to handle a challenge. But when stress is chronic, cortisol levels remain elevated. High cortisol triggers several fat-promoting processes. It encourages fat storage around the belly, increases appetite for high-calorie foods, and interferes with insulin signaling, worsening blood sugar spikes. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Think of cortisol as the body's fire alarm. When it goes off briefly, the system responds appropriately. But if the alarm never turns off, your metabolic fire department becomes exhausted. Energy management falters, fat storage increases, and cravings spike. Your body is essentially stuck in a survival mode that favors storing energy rather than burning it. Poor sleep amplifies this problem. Deep, restorative sleep is when growth hormone is released, insulin sensitivity improves, and your body repairs muscle and organs. After 60, many people experience fragmented sleep, difficulty falling asleep, or early morning awakenings. The result? lower growth hormone, higher cortisol, and an increased tendency to store fat, especially around the midsection. So, what can you do to regain control? The solutions are surprisingly simple, but they must be consistent. First, prioritize sleep hygiene. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule, create a dark and cool sleeping environment, and avoid stimulants or heavy meals close to bedtime. Gentle wind-down routines, like reading, stretching, or mindfulness practices, signal to your body that it's time to relax. Second, manage stress proactively. Daily habits like meditation, deep breathing exercises, short walks, or even light yoga reduce cortisol levels and help reset your metabolic fire alarm. Mindful reflection on what you can control, rather than obsessing over what you can't, also helps bring cortisol down. Third, strategic nutrition can help. Certain foods support cortisol regulation and stress resilience. Magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, seeds, and nuts, adaptogenic herbs such as ashwagandha or rhodiola, and omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish all contribute to stabilizing stress hormones. Avoid excessive caffeine and refined sugar, which spike cortisol and blood sugar simultaneously. Fourth, movement matters, but timing matters too. Exercise is a natural cortisol modulator, but late-night high-intensity workouts can keep cortisol elevated and interfere with sleep. Morning or early afternoon sessions are ideal for supporting metabolic balance and hormonal rhythm. Finally, think of stress and sleep as the metabolic thermostat. Even if all other systems, muscle, liver, hormones, and insulin, are functioning well, poor stress management and sleep deprivation can override these benefits, making weight loss difficult. By intentionally resetting this thermostat, you unlock the body's natural ability to burn fat, regulate appetite, and maintain energy. Addressing stress and sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Small, consistent changes, like going to bed at the same time every night, adding a short meditation session, and adjusting meal and exercise timing, can dramatically improve metabolic health and accelerate fat loss, especially after 60. As we've explored in this video, weight gain after 60 is rarely about willpower or eating too much. It's about shifts in the body's physiology, subtle cumulative changes in muscle, insulin, hormones, liver function, stress, and sleep, all interacting to alter how your body stores and burns energy. Understanding these root causes gives you the power to reverse them. Let's recap the key insights. First, muscle loss reduces your metabolic engine, making it harder to burn calories and regulate blood sugar. Resistance training and adequate protein are essential tools to rebuild this engine. Second, insulin resistance can silently promote fat storage, especially around the belly. Stabilizing blood sugar through exercise, balanced meals, and mindful timing restores metabolic efficiency. Third, hormonal shifts, declines in estrogen, testosterone, and growth hormone change where your body stores fat and how efficiently it burns energy. Supporting hormones naturally with exercise, sleep, stress management, and targeted nutrition keeps your metabolic orchestra in harmony. Fourth, liver and fat metabolism dysfunction often goes unnoticed, but is central to stubborn weight gain. Supporting liver health with antioxidant-rich foods, intermittent fasting, and regular activity helps your body process fats efficiently rather than storing them. Fifth, stress and elevated cortisol drive abdominal fat and cravings, while poor sleep undermines hormonal balance and muscle repair. Prioritizing rest, stress reduction, and mindful routines restores your body's natural rhythm. Finally, lifestyle patterns, including daily movement, nutrient timing, and meal composition, act as the framework supporting all other systems. Small, consistent habits compound over time to preserve metabolic flexibility and prevent further weight gain. Think of it like this. After 60, your body is still capable of burning fat, regulating blood sugar, and maintaining energy, but it needs the right environment, signals, and support. Each system we discussed is like a gear in a finely tuned machine. When one gear slips, weight gain accelerates. When all gears are aligned, muscle maintained, insulin sensitive, hormones balanced, liver supported, stress managed, and sleep optimized, your metabolism runs smoothly again. Here's your challenge. Pick just one change today. Whether it's adding a 20-minute resistance workout, adjusting your sleep schedule, or swapping a refined carb for a protein and vegetable meal, and track how your body responds. Small, consistent steps compound into profound changes over weeks and months. If this added value to your understanding of your body, like the video and subscribe to join others who are taking control of their health naturally. Remember, weight gain after 60 is not inevitable. It's a signal, an opportunity to restore balance and vitality. By addressing the root causes, you can regain energy, maintain lean muscle, and burn fat sustainably, feeling stronger, healthier, and more vibrant every day.